Hey friends, what's up? Today is story time. I've got a little story to tell you about a flat earther that my wife and I met. I always thought flat earthers were just like internet trolls, people from places like Reddit or 4chan trying to stir the pot. They don't actually believe it. They're just trolling people, telling them they actually believe the earth is flat to get a response out of people, to kind of rage bait people into replying and engaging with their ideas and then laughing at them. But after meeting this flat earther in real life, I'm a changed man. I'm a new person. I actually now know people truly believe the earth is flat. Now, I remember watching that documentary, I think it was like Beyond the Curve was what it was called. It was on Netflix about the Flat Earth Society, or people who believe in the flat earth. The one where they prove that the earth is round and still don't believe it. After watching that documentary, I just thought it was still just a joke, a mockumentary. I didn't actually think it was a real documentary, but yeah, after meeting this guy, now I know they are really out there. It's like the X-Files. The truth is out there. So me and my wife were at the Vancouver airport in Canada, and we were waiting for our flight. We were going to an astronomy conference, and we had some time to kill between our flights, so we waited there and we decided to go get some food. And after we ate, we were just chilling for a bit, and a guy came up, sat down next to us. He was a pretty normal looking dude. He had a couple tattoos, slicked back mohawk. And as we were sitting there, he probably noticed the shirts that my wife and I were wearing. I was wearing a Moon Phases shirt, and my wife was wearing a Copper Moon Coffee UFO shirt that said "Beam Me Up." So he probably figured like, oh, these are my kind of people. Anyways, we exchanged pleasantries. Hey, how you doing? Stuff like that. And we asked him, where are you flying to? And he said he was flying to Mexico. Now, let me stop right there and say that was the last thing that was said that really made any sense. That was the moment we went into the upside down. We stepped into the matrix. We left our reality and we entered his version of reality. So he said he's flying to Mexico, and we asked him, oh, what are you doing there? What are you going to Mexico for? And he says, I'm going to meet a group of people. We're not a cult. Now, if you have to proclaim that you're not a cult, newsflash, buddy, you're probably in a cult. Why even say that? Like, why does that need to be said? Why do you need to preface it with you're going to meet people and you're not a cult? Why can't you just say we're going to meet people? Like, why can't you just say that? So we continue asking him questions. Oh, okay, cool. You're meeting this group of people. Not a cult. What are you going to meet them for? What are you guys doing? And he says, well, we're a group of people and we meet together and we practice ancient rituals. Now, me and my wife, we love that kind of stuff. We love ancient history, ancient astronomy, ancient cultures and civilizations. So we continue to ask him like, oh, okay, what kind of ancient rituals do you guys do? And he was like, oh, we practice all different kinds of things. And, one of the things we do is we drink our own urine. Yeah. They get together to drink their own piss. Out of all the things he could have told us, out of all of the things he could have said, that was the first one that he told us. That's the one he led with. And if that's the first one he's telling us, that they get together in this not a cult gathering and they drink their own piss, what are the other things that they do? Like, what's the other stuff that they could be doing that he didn't mention?
Right now, we're about to take a pee shower.
Now, there was a bit of an awkward pause after he said that, and I'm sure he noticed the shocked or maybe surprised look on our face. So he came in to quickly fill in the silence, and he started to say stuff like, oh, well, did you know that like urine has all these positive benefits? Like it has a positive charge for your body, and it's got all sorts of health benefits. And my wife and I were still just kind of in disbelief hearing the fact that this guy drinks his own piss. But we didn't really know what else to say, so we were just like, oh, okay, what other benefits does it have? He started to like list off all these other things, and I'll be honest, I wasn't really listening. I was really just thinking to myself in my head, bro, you don't need to fly all the way to Mexico to drink your own piss. You can do that at home.
The only thing I can do is to drink my own pee.
Well, I try to relate to him in the best way that you can relate to somebody who drinks their own piss. And I say, well, the astronauts on the space station, they recycle their own urine. They recycle it and turn it into water. So in a way, they're drinking their own piss too. Once he heard me talk about astronauts, he leaned back and went, astronauts? Ha! More like astronauts. And he did it in such a smug, like, gotcha way where he's like, I'm about to reveal that you're living in the Matrix. Like, he had that, like, smug, egotistical sound to his voice when he did that, when he just went, ha! Astronauts? More like astronauts. Of course, I gotta ask him, like, what do you mean astronauts? And he just straight up said, it's all fake. He was so matter-of-fact about it. He was so matter-of-fact when he was just saying, it's all fake. And he had a straight look on his face when he told us that. And of course, I continued to press and asked, what's fake? What do you mean it's fake? And he said, astronauts aren't a real thing. You know, the space station is not a real place. The astronauts aren't actually in outer space. Everything we see in space is just a projection on the dome. It's all fake, all of it. It's funny because he mentioned a bunch of things that alluded to him being a flat earther. Stuff like, it's fake, space is fake, we never went there, it's all a projection on a dome, firmament, all of these like different terms that he was talking about. But it seemed like he didn't actually want to say out loud that he's a flat earther, which is really funny when you think about it, because he's totally fine with mentioning out loud that he drinks his own piss. So my wife was like, wait, you think space is fake? And he said the stars and all that stuff we see out there, it's not what we think it is. What is it then? If stars aren't stars, and you know the sun and moon aren't the sun and moon, or galaxies aren't galaxies, then what is this stuff? And he started going down this like really esoteric rabbit hole, talking about how the sky is a projection and it's all a mechanism. It's like a machine, a mechanical machine in the sky, and there's like clockwork behind it. As he was talking about how the sky is kind of like a giant puzzle or a giant clock, and it's our job to try and figure out what it all means. Again, trying to relate to him, I mentioned that ancient cultures and ancient civilizations used the sky to tell time, like a clock. And he got super excited and he was like, yes, it's like a clock, it's a machine, it's something that it's up to us to figure out. And the sun and the moon are like the big hand of the clock, and the stars and their motion are like the small hand of the clock. After that, we really didn't know what to say, because I mean, it was so far down the rabbit hole that I guess we really couldn't find any common ground. So there was a slight pause. He finally decided to ask us, where are you guys flying to? We told him we're astrophotographers. We take pictures of space, you know, the place that he thinks is fake. And we're traveling to an astronomy conference with some of the top space photographers in the world. When we told him that, he had a really embarrassed look on his face. And he said to us, oh, well, you guys probably hate me now. And I said, look, we don't hate you. I think people are allowed to believe whatever they want to believe as long as it doesn't hurt other people. And we even, you know, pulled our phones out and showed him some of the astrophotos that we take. He's scrolling through them and we're showing him and talking to him about the galaxies that we photograph and the nebulas and moon and stuff like that. And of course he's like, yeah, but it's all fake. And my wife responded and said, well, even if it's fake, you can still agree that the night sky is beautiful, right? And he agreed. And you know, I think that was the moment we found some common ground where even though he thinks it's fake, we can still both agree that the night sky is beautiful, which is awesome. Anyway, I looked at my watch and saw we had 4 hours till our flight, so I grabbed my wife and said, well, when you look at the time, it's time for us to go. Great to meet you. And he stood up and said, well, it's great to meet you too. I'm going to head to the bathroom. And as he walked away, he turned back to us and said, by the way, either of you want a drink for the road?
Cheers.
Okay, that last bit didn't happen, but the rest of the story is 100% true. So if you didn't believe that flat earthers actually existed in the real world, well, sorry to burst your bubble, but they do. This guy is living proof of it. I'm still waiting to meet somebody who believes that the lizard people live underground. The lizard people will reign supreme once again. After meeting this flat earther, I can say with confidence that there are people who truly, truly do believe that lizard people live amongst us and are waiting. Now, one thing I do want to say is if you meet somebody like what we did meeting a flat earther, you're not going to change their mind in the brief time that you spend with them. I think the best thing to do is just listen to them, have a conversation, and show compassion, because when they share their beliefs and their viewpoint, they're probably already feeling defensive and expecting to be ridiculed. And when that does happen, ridiculing them, it really just reinforces their beliefs. They likely believe the earth is flat and some other conspiracies because they don't trust the government, and then that usually leads to them just not trusting people in general. And with their group of flat earthers, they probably feel like they're part of a community, and to the outside world, they themselves feel like outcasts and outsiders. And if they do have that aha moment when they realize that they're actually wrong and the earth isn't flat, they might still not make that jump, and they fear rejection. And so now they're in a position where they're rejected by their flat earth community because they don't believe it anymore, and they're rejected by the rest of the world. They're going to feel like they're isolated from both groups, and they'll have nobody to turn to. So they'll most likely just stay with their flat earth community. But I do think if we show them that they can still believe their crazy ideas, as long as it's not, physically harming people, and show them that we can still treat them like human beings, if they do eventually turn to the truth that the earth is not flat, hopefully it'll make it easier for them to cross that bridge instead of fear of being rejected by society. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed that story. If you like this kind of stuff, consider liking and subscribing, and try not to drink your own piss out there in the world. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.